What's up, y'all? Kyle Hamilton here. I want to give a quick shout out to Lucas, Connor, and Ryan in the Week 0 podcast.
Jackson rolling out, 3rd and 7 after the penalty, and it's a completion to Kuma. He's still running. Kuma breaks free against a tire defense as the Hokies deliver the dagger here in Tallahassee. Empty look for Richardson. Oh, that is danger! Oh my! Keidron Smith cuts inside, and he's gonna pick 6 it in the swamp. Cat scratch fever Smith.
DJ is picked off, intercepted again by Benjamin Morrison. Here goes Morrison down the sideline. Can he go? Yes, he can. Touchdown, pick 6, Benjamin Morrison. Nix drops back underneath. Touchdown, Ducks. Wow. Chase Porter.
Welcome back to another episode of The Gold Standard. I'm your host, Ryan Fravel, with my co-host, Andy Forever. Been a while, but we are back. Took a long hiatus. Both been pretty busy. But anyway, how have you been, man? Long time no see.
Long time no see, man. Pretty good. Just drove from, like I told you, Alaska down to Georgia, and it's been a crazy adventure. What about you?
Nothing much, man. Just actually got back from Kentucky. Went on vacation there for a little bit. So we got a lot of stuff to get into. A lot of Notre Dame news broke over the last week or so. First things first, we'll get into the spring game first. So far, from what you saw, what were your takeaways from the spring game? Obviously, the big things to take note of were, Jaden Greathouse and the freshman receivers, see how they played. The quote-unquote quarterback competition between Sam Hartman and Tyler Buchner. What were you looking for, and what were your reactions and takeaways from that spring game?
So I made a poll maybe a day before the spring game saying who wanted who to win. It was like 52% blue, 48% gold or something. And I was intrigued with the matchups with quarterbacks, right? Seeing Hartman having the better O-line, but Buchner having the better receivers, how that would go. And we saw how it went. And I'm shocked, right? I thought it would be closer, especially after all the reports saying that Buchner actually has been looking better in practice than Hartman. I mean, Hartman blew me away. I knew he was good. I know he's great, top 10 quarterback in college football. For him to dominate the way he did, I was like, I think that's the moment where every Notre Dame fan was like, he's going to be the starting quarterback. Right.
Yeah, and I don't know, and I was kind of the same way. Like, I don't know what I necessarily expected to see from Hartman, but oddly enough, he overachieved from what I expected.
Yeah.
You can't obviously take too much from a spring game, especially with how the talent was kind of shaken out with the draft that they did this year. But, man, in my opinion, Sam Hartman looked like a Heisman candidate. He looked. This is a spring game, but in less than a half of action, 13 for 16, 200 yards passing, 2 passing touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown.
Yeah.
At that point, you're averaging 3 touchdowns a half. So
I don't see I don't see him being that consistent in the regular season. I still anticipate us being pretty run heavy, especially when Diggs is healthy. I think that we're going to focus on the run game and use Hartman when we need to, especially with what just happened recently. We can't utilize Hartman too much. We need him. Another thing I saw from the spring game that I'd say the pros and cons, Freeman said it himself. The freshman linebackers impressed me with Preston and Drake. They both phenomenal. I mean, a fourth down stop by Preston as a freshman. I was like,
Jaden Osbury. I thought Jaden Osbury was impressive too.
yep, that's a good
He should
one.
have had a pick six.
Yes,
Should
they
have had a
should
pick
have.
six. But I mean, is it just me or from when Jaden Osbury got on campus to now? He looks like a legit college football linebacker. I think one of the biggest things on him was he needed to get bigger. You know, he was a slender kid, pretty fast, but he looked pretty damn big to me.
Yeah.
And his speed is something that I love. His break on the ball for a linebacker in coverage.
He should have gotten a pick six there. If he did that, that would have positioned
Is it?
himself
Would it be
great.
wrong for me to say kind of Julian, or not Julian Okora, Jeremiah Owusu Koromoa ish?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Just because they both have freaky athleticism, the only difference is Jeremiah that kind of had to be developed, kind of like you're seeing right now with Jason Anye, right, being developed. While Osbury, he's kind of coming in as a freak of nature, but they are very similar. And I'd say a con for me, that offensive line looked terrible on the blue side. Gold side looked great. I mean, all the starters were there. But it kind of worried me that after this year, when Alt and Carell leaves, potentially Fisher, I don't see Fisher leaving after being hurt his freshman year and last year starting. I see him coming back. But if he leaves too, our offensive line's in for a rude awakening. So I think it'd be good for the interior to start a freshman or two. I could see Rocco playing or Billy playing on the inside. Having him play would be really smart. It just I was pretty surprised with how bad it was on the blue team. I mean, Buchner had almost no time to. I could tell he was getting frustrated wearing the red jersey too, because there were some plays he could have taken off and he just got touched and he was like,
Well, what is he? He started out with 3 straight sacks, I believe, or was it 2? I mean, it looked like to me, and we'll use this to transition to our next point. Tyler Buchner entering the portal. I've seen a lot of knee-jerk reactions in both ways. Some Notre Dame fans saying, "Oh, we didn't need him anyway," and some fans saying that calling for Freeman's head because we've lost Buchner, Collie, and Styles all to the portal now, who all were at one point very highly valued recruits from that 2021 class. First off, what are your thoughts on each individual leaving? And what do you think about Tyler Buchner leaving? Do you think this is alarming for Notre Dame's quarterback situation going forward? Or do you think with Minchie and Carr coming in next year, are you not as worried?
I'll get into the quarterback after I talk about Styles and Collie. So Styles, I completely understand. I don't get why. Same thing with Buchner later on. Oh, he was benched anyway, right? Depth is an important thing. If someone gets hurt, we need to have someone have the ability to come in the way he can. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I had to turn my camera off for a minute.
Okay. And I get it. Switching the cornerback, going to the next level. He was getting some of the young freshmen were kind of jumping him on the depth chart a little bit. It's fine. I get it. Probably going to Ohio State to play with his brother, Sonny. Good luck to him. I wish him all the best. Same with Prince. I can see him being a Vanderbilt fit. Going back with Barkley. Bless you. Collie, I was surprised. I felt like even though he's behind J.D. Bertrand, Maurice, and Jack Kaiser, right? They're all the main starters. They're coming back as fifth-year grads. This should be Prince Collie's time, but as a junior, it's also like he's got a few years of eligibility left. I understand him leaving, right? He keeps getting down the depth chart, especially when people want Jalen Sneed, Nolan Ziegler playing. But he was going to get a good amount of playing time this year. He was going to be the rotational guy, kind of like Foskey the year before he broke out, when he was like, should I stay? He stayed and broke out. I really think that if Collie stayed another year, he would be a huge piece of this defense next year. But we'll see how it goes. Now, Buchner. I'm extremely upset. Very upset. Like, it bothers me. Just because, like, bless you. I mean, Minchie, Carr, and we're probably not going to see Angeli much. But if we do, nice, I guess. It's just going to be young next year, and they need to start Minchie or Carr. I think they need to start Carr, because if they start Minchie has all those years of eligibility. Carr's not going to sit, right? So start Carr from a freshman, let him play for 3 years, and just take a year of rebuild. The 2024 schedule is probably the easiest I've ever seen Notre Dame have. Do it. But Buchner literally was going to be the starter. People said guaranteed. It wasn't guaranteed. You really see Minchie, the way he played in the spring game, he's super talented, but he's not ready. Angeli's not ready. He's just coming in. People his head, but it's frustrating. It's frustrating because he's the future, right? I mean, you can ask my wife. I'm the biggest Tyler Buchner fan. I think he is the most talented quarterback if he can put it together. The way he can run, and he's got an arm. If he does. In the spring game, you saw a little bit too when he was under pressure. He did get a little crazy with his passes, with overthrows, underthrows on the short throws. He just needs to be a little better with some touch passes, which Hartman came in. Now with what I agree with, and I'm not saying Buchner should start, I really think Hartman should start this year. And this shouldn't be on Freeman, and people shouldn't be mad at Freeman, because it is not a bad thing to have a competition, right? You bring somebody in, and if somebody's better, why would you be mad? Hartman obviously was the part. He's here for 1 year, but I'd rather have 1 year where I know we have a shot at the playoffs and the national championship than hopeful by potential, right?
Yeah.
People are frustrated with the situation. I really hope that he'll find his way back to Notre Dame. He loves Notre Dame. Tyler Buchner really does. I know the ND degree is very valuable to him, and I wish him all the best. But how frustrated I would be if he won a national championship at Alabama. That would make me so mad, because I know the potential he has, and I want to see it at Notre Dame, you know? So
And
it's
to that
frustrating.
point, I was actually going to say, I personally, I think Tyler's going to end up back at Notre Dame, and here's why. Tyler wants to go somewhere where he's going to start, correct? That's the biggest thing for him. If he goes to Alabama, there's no guarantee he's going to start. There's no guarantee. Jalen Milroe, I believe, was a high 4-star kid quarterback. I don't know who else Alabama has.
They have Ty Simpson.
Yep, and I don't know about that either. I've seen Florida be thrown out there.
Auburn.
I've seen Auburn. I don't really know what they have there, so I can't really speak to that. But I don't think Auburn's a very attractive spot right now. Florida, I think they have Graham Mertz, who, in my opinion, is one of the worst quarterbacks in college football. So we'll see there. But I think he ends up back in Notre Dame. At least I hope he does. But like I said, if he goes anywhere, I'm not going to freak out and call for Freeman's head because if, for what I say, if Hartman takes Notre Dame, not even to a natty, but say Hartman wins you a college football semifinal game and takes you to a national championship,
Yeah.
is that worth Tyler Buchner? I
No, I'd rather
I
have
th-
that.
I think so because if Tyler was our starting quarterback this year, who do you think we have a better shot with this current roster winning a national championship with Tyler Buchner or Sam Hartman? I love Tyler Buchner to death, and I think he was going to be the guy after Hartman left. But I don't with the inconsistency of him throwing the ball. He's still got to work on his decision making. At times, I didn't think that. I think Buckner would have got us maybe 10-2 with our season, but I think Hartman gives us the best chance.
Yeah, I agree. Agree with you with the Alabama thing. If he goes to Alabama, he's not guaranteed to start. If you're not guaranteed to start, why would you go somewhere with guys who are going to beat you that are younger and are going to start next year versus coming back to Notre Dame for 1 year learning, being healthy behind Hartman and starting next year? I don't understand the logic of it. I get the wanting to play, but you have 3 years of eligibility, right? Like it's I get wanting to play. I really do. You want to be on the field, and I can see him going to like a Auburn and having some success there. But
Let, let,
I
let me say this as well. Buckner, like, think about it this way. Buckner, if you are, like, if Tyler were ever to watch this, think about this, Tyler. You were not good enough to, not good enough, but you couldn't beat out Sam Hartman for the starting job at Notre Dame. To be the starting quarterback at Alabama, what makes you think that that's different? Because if I remember correctly, Alabama wasn't too high on Tyler Buckner when he came out as a recruit to begin with. I know they were one of the first schools to offer him, but I don't think they really recruited him that heavily. I don't. The thought of seeing Tyler Buckner at Alabama, the only reason I could see that happening is Tommy Reese.
yes,
That would be the only reason he would go to Alabama, and I really think that would be a bad decision because I don't understand Buckner. I don't know if he doesn't realize that, hey, once Hartman's gone, I'm the man for the next 2 years, at least.
yes.
Unless for whatever reason I get injured and Minchie and Carr beat me out.
If Minchie and Carr beat him out, then it's time, right? But like
Yep.
you are one play away this year from being the starter, and if Hartman gets hurt this year and we're stuck with Angeli, we are fucked, right?
See, let me ask you this because I've seen something today where now it's Freeman's trying to figure out who the number 2 is. I liked how Minchie played in the spring game. I thought Minchie played better than Angeli and Buckner in the spring game. Who would you have at that number 2 spot? Because I think upside wise, I think you put Minchie at 2. But I guess if you're going experience in the system, you'd go Angeli.
That's tough. I mean, if like let's say Buckner does leave, then I want them to bring in a transfer. But
If you bring in a transfer, though, do you think that's basically saying to Angeli, we don't think you're ready?
yes, but I really think Angeli's he's good. He's just he's not gonna. He's like I don't know how to explain it. He's like an Ian Book. He'll get you there, but you're not gonna win it. I guess. I don't know if I feed him. I would want Minchie as the number 2 just for the I think Angeli looked better. I would have Angelius too. Just for that reason, I I'm hoping Buckner comes back, but I just don't see it. I don't see it. But you never know. Sometimes people do go back to the school, right? Um, we'll see how it goes. Here's the interesting thing. Notre Dame was one scholarship player leaving away from being on the 85-man roster, right? They are now they have now lost three, so they have two open spots. You can bet your ass one's going to be a safety, right? But are they going to add another wide receiver? Are they going to add another quarterback? Are they going to add another linebacker, defensive tackle? What do you think? Aspect?
In terms of the transfer portal,
Yes.
see, I personally think we need to go safety.
We're going that 100%. Like, that's going to happen, but there's one more spot then. Do you give it to a walk-on, scholarship, like a transfer portal? What do you...
I'm trying to think.
Because you want to have that roster filled, and they're getting a safety. I just don't know where. I don't think you necessarily need a wide receiver after Styles leaves, with Chris Tyree going to wide receiver. But maybe you
because
go
I know people are saying like AJ Henning
Yep.
for the transfer, and I believe Notre Dame was heavily interested in him when he was coming out of college or high school.
That was a battle between Michigan and Notre Dame, yeah.
But the thing is, though, I don't know how you're gonna. I mean, does he kind of replace Caleb Smith in that role? I mean, because he has experience. But then you're taking snaps away from guys like Jaden Greathouse, Rico Flores, Braylon James.
People have said offensive line,
Yeah.
I could see them getting an interior offensive lineman.
My thing though is, like, I know people want us to bring in and I think it was reported that Notre Dame's looking at the portal for a backup quarterback. What quarterback is going to say, I want to go be the backup quarterback at Notre Dame?
Brady Allen.
But the thing is, I believe he's transferring because he lost the job to some kid at Purdue, right?
He's a freshman last year, right? He's only thrown like one pass, but people like him because they feel like he can be developed. It's just another name in the room, right? Having somebody else for potential. You're not if you're at a small school and you get an offer from Notre Dame, that's something you would consider, right? Sitting a year behind Hartman, the all-time leading passer in ACC history in touchdowns, and learning for a year, and then potentially starting the year after. That's it. That's a selling.
I can't remember. Was Brady Allen a pretty highly sought-after recruit?
Yeah, he was a 4-star. He wasn't like top 5 or anything, but I think he was like 11th or
top. He was
like a 10 or 11.
On 3, had him as the number 4 quarterback.
Well, that's on 3. Yeah.
24/7 had him as a top 10 quarterback.
Yep, 10. Yeah.
Rivals had him at 9. ESPN had him at 10. So he, just in the industry ranking, he was 116 overall national, 7 quarterback. How did Notre Dame not get him? He's an Indiana kid.
They wanted to go after elsewhere, right?
I guess this is 22, but you can't tell me who did we get in 22 for quarterback?
Angeli.
Was it Angeli? You can't tell me we couldn't get Brady Allen.
I guess they liked Angeli more.
I think Angeli was a late offer because I believe we were going after the kid. Okay, we were going after Cade Klubnik, I believe. Or no, that was this.
They
that was
offered Angeli. I wouldn't say it was like super late like Kenny Minchie, but he was one of their summer recruits.
Yeah.
Commits. But
Brady Allen wants to come to Notre Dame. I don't know if this kid is as good as he was in high school, but
I'm just hoping CJ Carr next year. We'll see how he does in the Elite 11, right? finals, but maybe Buchner leaving opens the door for C.J. Carr to be the next Drake May, right?
Yep.
When was the last time? Everett Golson, last freshman to start right
The
away.
thing is, I don't think C.J. Carr will start as a true freshman. I
But if
I
he
think
doesn't,
Kenny Minchie. I think Kenny Minchie will be the starter once Hartman is gone. If we don't get a transfer, I think this is what I think will happen. I think Notre Dame brings in a really talented signal caller in 2025. Gets a commitment for 2025. I think Hartman goes to the NFL. I think Angeli transfers because I think Minchie beats him out. So I think Minchie's your starter. And then I think you get CJ Carr at 2, and whoever you bring at 2025 is going to end up 3. You probably are going to
don't be
need another
surprised.
quarterbacks. I don't.
Don't be
Notre Dame's
surprised if
one of those
next.
places that you just don't see a true freshman start.
It's rare, but don't be surprised if they go the transfer portal next year and do like a Jack Cohn, Sam Hartman thing again. Just don't be surprised
See,
if it
but
happens.
I would rather, because I didn't like the Jack Cohn move. I would have rather that year see Tyler Buchner. I know he was a freshman, but because if you put Jack Cohn there, you're kind of in they call it the middle of nowhere, where you're not realistically competing for a national championship. You don't suck, but you're kind of in that middle where you go to maybe a New Year's Six at best, but you're probably looking at a bowl game, just a normal bowl game. I would rather have seen Tyler develop for a year and start for a year than him wait. I think Kenny Minchie's the same thing. I think Minchie's better than Buchner. I've bold statement. I like his attributes. I think his play style reminds me a lot of Patrick Mahomes. He's very off kilter. The sideway throws, the pulling stuff out of his butt when plays break apart. He's kind of like a backyard football type quarterback. When's the last time Notre Dame had that? Everett Golson maybe? Brandon Wimbush maybe?
Kaiser maybe.
Kaiser, yeah.
I don't.
But I don't know. I like Minchie a lot.
I'm a big Buckner fan, so he's one of my favorite quarterbacks to ever go to Notre Dame. I just wish.
I think, and you know what? I'm going to blame Tommy Reese for the lack of Buckner's development. I really do.
I'm going to blame injuries. He's hurt. He comes in the Virginia Tech game, gets hurt after he's doing decent. Then Jack Cohn comes in, wins the game, so then he's done. And then the next year he gets hurt in the Marshall game. He's done for the year. I mean, like.
But let's not act like Buchner wasn't playing like doo-doo against Marshall. I mean, he looked terrible.
But it was also his second career start, right?
But my thing is, like, it's against Marshall. I forgive the play against Ohio State because that's Ohio State. But I mean, even Tyler Buchner. I mean, hell, even Drew Pine, probably even Ron Paulus should be able to go out there and play really good against Marshall. Maybe not Ron Paulus, but no, go ahead.
You're right. If he's gone and Minchie steps up, I would be more than happy. I'm not going to be mad at someone wanting to leave. I'll look at the people who want to stay. That's what every Notre Dame fan should do, and support them who you are, Notre Dame, and hope the best success and just hope that he comes back. But hope that the current players continue to develop and progress to where we can win a national championship, right? But it's what's the word I'm looking for? You're not wrong. We should be able to beat Marshall. But at the same time, like I tell everybody, When was the last time Notre Dame got upset by an unranked team? It's been a long time. It was
I think
due.
Duke was the last one, right?
Yeah, it was due for us to do it, right? So I'm not. I was upset. It's funny because I had a coworker at work put a bet that Marshall was going to win, and I told him, I was like, I am 100% certain Marshall is not beating Notre Dame.
Dude, I spent my money to go watch because I was like the Friday before. I was like, okay, Notre Dame's playing Marshall. It's on Peacock, or no, it wasn't on Peacock. It was on NBC. I'm like, I don't want to sit here and like I love watching Notre Dame blowout teams, but it gets pretty boring, like because you want to see a competitive game at times.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, you know what? I live an hour and a half from Champaign. I'm gonna go watch a competitive football game. I'm gonna go watch Illinois play Virginia. They were both. I think Illinois was like 2-0. Virginia was 1-1. I'm gonna go watch that. So I drove during the Notre Dame game. Was sitting there watching the Illinois game. I'm wearing my Notre Dame jersey and stuff like that. And I got the text from my guys from the Week Zero podcast. They're like, Ryan, you're not watching the game, are you? And I said, why? They said, thank God you're not watching this game right now. And I said, what? Is it that bad? Like, what's going on? I get on my Hulu app on my live TV, get on and watch the game. I kid you not. The minute the game loads is when Buchner threw that pick six. And I'm like, you gotta be shitting me. I'm like, dude. And then after the game, I had Illinois fans like, yeah, go Notre Dame, right? Like, you guys lost. Imagine losing to Marshall.
I know.
And I'm like that. When Illinois fans are giving you crap, when their team hasn't been relevant since 2005, you know it's rough. You know it's rough.
You know what's funny is a lot of my friends bash Notre Dame. It's Notre Dame, but LSU friends. I have like all types of friends who have different, like Texas, different fan bases, and they always hate Notre Dame. They say they're overrated, but they feel like with Hartman that they're actually contenders this year.
I think I saw something where Notre Dame, weirdly enough, Notre Dame doesn't even have top 10 odds to win the national championship. And I was like, no way. And you look at the teams on the list, Texas, LSU, I'm like, okay. I think you put Notre Dame on a neutral site field against Texas or LSU.
It's going to be close.
I think it's going to be close, but I think Notre Dame will win.
Texas, that makes me nervous. I mean, that's a
After watching Quinn Ewers for a year, I think they went, 9-4?
he was hurt.
I know, but like he still looked like a young quarterback who, especially that Oklahoma State game that they had no business losing, and I think he threw like 3 interceptions that cost them that game, and they weren't like good interceptions, were like tips. They were like I don't know why I'm throwing into triple coverage type interceptions like that.
Yeah.
That was bad. So I don't know. I'm not bought into the whole Quinn Ewers sweepstakes. I think he's a good quarterback, but we'll have to see with Texas. But the thing with Texas is, I always say is, people say Notre Dame chokes in big games. What does Texas do?
Yeah.
Because they haven't. What do they say? We're back every single year. So, I always say, I always play this for Texas fans when they act like they're back.
Texas is back, folks.
Not this time. You're wrong.
We're back.
No, we got you.
When Texas wins tonight
No way.
against the mighty SEC,
No way.
Texas is back.
This one was invented by a writer.
I always got to play that for them because
They always say they're back, and every time you feel like they're back, they're not.
And I say always the worst part about that, and I still get Texas fans to this day that'll blame Notre Dame for giving them hope in that 2016 year when they beat us and we were ranked. And they're like, we were god awful that year. But
What's our next topic?
I I think that's
Was it
it.
recruiting? I thought we had 3. I think like the recruits, the commits was.
Oh yeah. You want to go ahead and mention that for us? Because I kind of slipped my mind on who we got committing.
Well, this weekend Bryce Young is committing. That's a no-brainer. He's going to commit to Notre Dame after his father, right?
It was just a matter of time.
And there's a receiver. There's so many receivers I'm looking at.
Oh, two of them.
Yep.
Isaiah Canian, who I believe is a top 100 player now, and Micah Gilbert.
Micah Gilbert's committing this weekend.
Yep, and then next week is Isaiah Canian.
You know what a crazy stat is? Micah Gilbert, Jack Larson, and Bryce Young all go to the same high school in the 2020.
That's why. They're like, hey, man, I saw you're committing, I'm committing too.
Yeah. And this receiver class, I mean, already with Cam Williams, Micah Gilbert, all in the next week, the commit, you said lined up as commitment date. I mean, we're probably going to get, that's 3 receivers, 1 more.
Can you imagine? When is the last time Notre Dame's had 2 receivers ranked inside the top 100? Has that ever happened?
Nah, Will Fuller year? Nah, no. It was close with It was close when you gotta look through.
I don't think that's how. I don't think in the recruiting era Notre
Look at our
Dame has had.
2010 class with Michael Floyd, maybe. It's got to happen once. It's had to have happened.
Yeah, I mean, but could you imagine Isaiah Canian, who is he's a Georgia kid, and Georgia's got some athletes,
right?
Yep. With
that's where I just moved to, Warner Robins.
Yeah, he plays and he plays with that 5-star quarterback over there at Warner Robins too. Notre Dame is heavily interested in that. Anthony Gill, I think his name is.
That's crazy. I mean, I didn't even think this was like a big football area, and I just moved here.
Oh yeah, they're really good. But no, I was looking. Chancey Stuckey, people need to give this man some props. I mean, he is getting
credit.
And I know people are like, people are pissed off that, well, we didn't get Ryan Wingo, we didn't get Jeremiah McClellan. I mean, I understand that, but I think Cam Williams is just as good as Ryan Wingo, if not
Cam
better.
Williams is higher than Ryan Wingo.
You think he's better?
He's higher ranked. I mean,
yeah.
But I think they're 2 different receivers. One's a big body, catch over you. One's more elusive. But Cam Williams is top 5 receiver in this class to me.
So I'm looking here. You said 2010.
2010. You got to look. Put it on so we could see.
It wasn't. It was. Let me see. Let me share this really quick. So this is the commits from 2010. T.J. Jones was the highest rated receiver. He was number 87 overall, 10 receiver.
Look at 09.
So that was the Manti Te'o year. Man, Notre Dame used to recruit really well. That's crazy. Not that year either.
2011. We got to see.
There's no. Let's see. Aaron Lynch.
Yikes.
Was he a bust?
Yes, he was a huge bust.
Number 1 in his position. Ishaq Williams. I didn't know he was a 5-star kid. Yeah, none there either.
That's
what
crazy.
year was? I think it might have been 2008. Was the year Michael Floyd? Yeah,
Yep.
Michael Floyd. So, Dane Christ. Oh God.
Yep, look. 2 top 100 receivers, right? If I read that correct. No, that's
Receivers.
I can't see it.
So, we did. Deion Walker and Michael Floyd was the last time.
2008.
And I've never heard of Deion
Sonny
Walker.
Lorenzo Styles was close. That year was close. I know we had a few good ones a few years ago.
Yeah, let's see. This is the year Deion
Deion
Colzie.
Colzie.
Yeah, they were
and
close. They were really close, which is weird that Deion. I didn't remember that Deion was a higher rated recruit.
I did because I was pissed when he undecommitted, and then when he recommitted, I was like, "Thank God."
Wait, Deion, he decommitted? I didn't
Yep,
know that.
because he was getting second thoughts about staying home, and people were thinking he would commit to Georgia. And after a few months, he recommitted.
That's crazy. So Deion, Prince Collie, Styles, Buchner,
Yep, all gone. That's what Tom Moy's been talking about. Is that a big piece
Kane
of
Barong is gone. Philip Riley's gone, I believe. Yeah. Caleb Johnson's gone. Kari Gee is gone.
Justin
Brian
Walters
Barr.
is gone.
Yep. Chance Tucker, I think he's still there.
Yep.
That's insane.
Jason Anye is going to be a big part of this defense this year.
Which is crazy because he was a really low-level recruit.
Yeah, but they knew he would be a prototype, like he would be like a big bust or not.
Oh, God, that Caden Madden. Oh.
I was hyped
such a
about
bad.
that.
Oh, man. Rocco Spindler, I didn't realize he was a top 60 recruit.
Yes.
He's
If you
been
look
kinda-
at last year's, it's cool to see like the people over the years, like how they developed. Like,
Jalen Sneed was obviously our top-rated 5-star. Which I really do hope he gets more snaps this year.
he better.
Emil Wagner. I don't know. Has he progressed at all?
He still needs to gain weight.
Bryson-
Niafau Tuialamaka was good. Is good in this class. And then Eli Raridan, if he stays healthy, there's some good players. I mean,
What's going on with this guy, Joey Tenona? Was that one of the
think
guys? Was that the guy that
retired.
medically retired?
Yep. Yeah, he medically retired.
Jadarian Price. Oh, I loved Payne in the spring game as well. Eli Raridan, Ty Chan, Jaden Mickey. Mickey looks like he's progressed a lot as well from what I saw.
Nolan did too. This is a good class.
Yeah. Man, even like the 3-stars we got pretty a lot. Well, Bryce McPherson. Is there any reason why he's not the starting kicker? Or not kicker? Who was the guy we had that was the number 6 or the number 1 kicker in his class, and we let him go?
That was he that Blade face started over. And he was a kicker. Oh my gosh.
You're cutting out.
Sorry, McPherson's here at punter, but that kicker is you're making me blank. But yeah, he was a 5-star, and everyone
Kicker.
expected him. I think it starts with an M. Name.
But because I was wondering, like when they said we were taking another transfer kicker, I was like, okay, we've had the number 1 kicker in his class for 2 years, and he's not progressed. Like, he must be pretty damn bad for you to have to go get a transfer kicker.
Yeah, I mean, Freeman said he doesn't mind going into the portal every year for competition purposes. So, if someone's better, someone's better.
Notre Dame,
We'll see how.
Notre Dame used to never go in the portal, or not used to, but used to be really good at, scouting kickers. We had those, Kyle Brinza, Justin Yoon, Jonathan Dorr back to back.
Yep. Jonathan Doe was all right. But I don't know. Like, I think we're in a day and age where the portal is kind of like free agency. So that's a good one, and that's one that frustrates me too. Thank you for bringing that up. I mentioned on Twitter, the Golden Playbook, that the Utah tight end was projected to go before my name. It's the only tight end that should/could go in front of Mayer. He's not being drafted this year, but Brock Bowers. I would understand because he is way more athletic than Michael Mayer.
See, but my
Michael
thing is,
Mayer,
I don't know
forget his
why.
athletic-
I don't know why people fall in love with Brock Bowers. I understand. I understand why, but to me, Brock Bowers isn't a traditional NFL tight end. He's more of a receiver than a tight end. Like
That's how
I
puts it,
think
but
I
agree.
think Michael Mayer. If you want, I think Michael Mayer. Like my pro comparison for him has always been Travis Kelsey, where he's not the quickest guy.
That's what people compare the Utah tight end to.
He's not
Because
the
he's more
quickest guy.
athletic. People say
Yeah. But what I was just gonna say was
but people,
the Travis Kelsey thing. It's like Michael Mayer's not the quickest guy off the line, but he's somehow always open. He always finds the holes in the defense to sit down and get a catch. Best blocking tight end in college football the last couple years. And I think
he's
that
not a good blocker.
if you want an all around tight end that will do everything for you, I think Michael Mayer's your option. If you want just a receiving threat, then Brock Bowers is your guy.
here, it's a difference maker. I do think that he ends up going in the first round to answer your question. I think he does go to the Dallas Cowboys or the Cincinnati Bengals tomorrow. He'll be a late first round pick. He'll be a late first round pick. They always seem to overthink recently Notre Dame players. I mean, Kyle Hamilton fell to like 17, and he ended up being the number 1 ranked safety last year per PFF. And then, Jeremiah Wusu-Moore fell to the second round. If he falls to the second round, I'd be a little frustrated because I feel like Michael Mayer is a generational tight end, not by his athleticism, but by how he catches every little thing that comes his way. I've never seen a tight end in college play like he has. I've never seen anyone like, he always made me go, wow. He's not athletic enough. Dude, he was hurdling people almost. He was pushing people to the ground. He's strong enough. He blocks well enough. I mean, he's a day 1 starter. He needs to go late first round. A team would be lucky to have him, and he would expand their offense, opening the run game with blocking and being an open receiver. I mean, it's a no-brainer for him.
I think what says a lot, and I've been telling people this, NFL scouts were calling Michael Mayer, as a true freshman, they were calling him a baby Gronkowski.
Yes.
Like that. I mean, Gronkowski's not the most athletic guy in the world. And people consider him the best tight end to ever play.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't get.
The Utah tight end
Kincaid's rated it too. But I don't get why people think, oh, well, because Michael Mayer isn't as flashy as Brock Bowers, he wasn't the best tight end in college football. That's blasphemous.
But forget Brock Bowers. I mean, he's next year. But Kincaid over
Dalton
Mayer?
Kincaid is amazing.
He is, but he's not Michael
Not
Mayer.
Michael Mayer. Yeah, exactly.
Right? Why would, if he got picked before Mayer? Oh my God, I'd be like, are you kidding me? Mayer will go late first round or early second. It would shock me if he went early second. But an NFL team is going to get.
I think Michael Mayer goes to the Packers.
The
personally,
Bengals or Bills.
I said this. I think Michael Mayer ends up with the Packers or the Bengals. I think one of those two teams take him.
What if the Chiefs, who need a receiver, took him and they had Kelsey and him? That'd be crazy. But
I would
they
be
wouldn't
fucking
do that.
pissed because I'm a Broncos fan. I don't want to see Michael Mayer and Kelsey. No.
I could see it's going to be a late first round pick. The Bengals make the most sense to me. They have all weapons and get all line second rounds. If they get tight end, they can get a really good one to open up that offense. But it'd be interesting. We'll find out tomorrow where he goes. I expect 4 players to get drafted from Notre Dame. Not in the first round, but 4 or 5. I could see Michael Mayer. I can see Isaiah Foskey. I can see, Jarrett Patterson, and I can see. Honestly, don't be surprised if Group A. People are looking at Group A to be drafted late. Who else is into the draft? One of the Admiral.
Oh yeah, I think I think they'll go I think the Adamilola twins go anywhere between 5 and 7. I think that's where they go. I think that's where they end up.
If Dalen Hayes got drafted, they should get drafted. That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, for sure. But all right, man. Well, that was a great show. Thank you for everyone that tuned in and watched. Thank you for going playbook for the comments. We will be back next Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. Like I said, this has been the Gold Standard. I'm your host, Ryan Fravel. My buddy Sean at ND Forever on Twitter. Go follow us down below. Me and the Week Zero Podcast boys will be back tomorrow doing a live stream and live reaction to the first round of the NFL Draft. And we will have a bunch of guests on there as well. Also, check me out next week on the Maze Madman's channel, where we interview Jared and Jacob Smith's top defensive lineman targets for Notre Dame and Michigan, one of whom just committed to Michigan. We'll be interviewing their mom and dad next Wednesday on the Maze Madman channel, so stay on the lookout for that. But as always, this has been the Gold Standard. I am your host, Ryan Fravel. This is Sean at ND Forever. And as always, go Irish and have a good night.